Hey everyone, this is Jessica, and I'm here to introduce to you my new Creative Couture collection, and I'm so excited. I've been working on this for way too long. Ever since I put out my Instagram system, people were asking me like, "Hey, can you do something like glitter styles or crystals or whatever?" But I can't just do something simple, so I have to kind of take it to the level. So basically, we've got this Creative Couture system, which is totally inspired by haute couture fashions, jewel encrusted textiles, crystals, just all of that kind of over the topness. And I've just made it really easy. So if you've worked with the Instagram system before, you know it's super easy. You just load up into Photoshop the patterns, the actions, and then the tool presets, which is how I do my brushes. And you load those up and you're ready to go. And I have another demo on my playlist on how to load those up if you're not familiar with it. And basically, the actions is what you're going to do. What I like about the Creative Couture line is that it was actually like a little bit easier on the actions, and it's nice because I was able to create these effects with a bit less layers, so it's just less for you to go through, so it's kind of easier. So basically, it works really the same, except the styles are just totally different. And so what I've got here is a layer that I just drew with one of my brushes, and I am just going to run the couture action, push play, and it's going to give me a base to start with. So if you worked with Instagram, it just creates a folder for you called Couture. You've got your original layer. The layer above it is the pattern layer, and it's in green, so it's really easy to find. You double click on this, and then you've got all of those patterns. And honestly, I meant to have a lot less patterns, but it just went crazy again. And I actually have, I think, 161 unique patterns and 215 altogether. But I say unique patterns because, say, for example, this rich glitter, I have it in light and dark version because you might want a light color or you might want a dark color, and so that just makes it easier so you have less steps. Like say, hey, I want this effect to be like a light pink or a light blue or whatever. Go with whichever ones are lighter, and you can just really see on your thumbnail list. When you're working with patterns, I would recommend you use your large list here rather than like thumbnails. That's harder to see what collection you're in, which I go through a lot of this on other tutorials as well. But I put it on the large list, so I can see everything really easily. And you just know if you want something light, click a light layer, and that's like a really cool jeweled effect. And if you want something dark, click a dark layer. So usually I've got like one of each, and it's just super fun. So you can see the collections that I have here. I have like rich glitters and sequins, and they've just got so much depth, and they're all seamless. And it was easier for me to make these ones seamless compared to my last one with the animal print. So this was a little bit easier, but not easier in the same way. Anyway, so I've got the collections are rich glitters and sequins, the jeweled fantasy collections, the pavés. We've got some really lovely pavé kind of patterns. Um, and of course, on all of the patterns, you just click in here and you could scale them to 50, 100%, 25%. I usually stick to those ones because of how Photoshop, like the previews on the patterns, you could do it in any size, but it makes it look a little bit pixelated if you scale the patterns to like 50%, say like 60% or something like that. It looks nicer on your preview if you have used 100, 50, 25, the even numbers like that. So back to the things, we've got textiles, and some of these I wanted to make them really nice and big, but you can scale them down so you can kind of see the forest through the trees depending on your what size it is. And we've got the textiles, we've got deeply encrusted collections. These are really fun. They're pretty crazy. Um, we've got the so dimensional. That's like even another level of crazy. You see all the layers that I've done here. It's just so cool. Like I cannot wait to make more displays. but I have been messing with this long enough. I just want to get it out and the product's ready. So we've got the So Dimensionals, which is just, that's like super fun. We've got Lightly Encrusted, which I've got these different ones here, which are just basically lightly encrusted, like it says. We've got the Caviars, which that is so much fun. And these ones, depending on if you want, you can make them totally tinier. And honestly, those were inspired by like nail art and stuff. I just thought that was so cool. So I was like, I want to make that on a style. So it's so fun. I'm just like having a blast with it. And then we've got the liquid metals. Got a lot of fun with that. We've got metal mixes, which is just some cool combinations of different metals and just some that's like smooth, a mix of smooth and hard on a lot of them. So that's just kind of crazy. And then we'll get into the overlays later. The overlays at the end, but those aren't the base ones. So, gosh, where do I go here? Let's just pick a rich glitter. Let's like all the basic ones that like the glitters and the everything, those are at the front. We've just got so many different ones to choose from. I'll just leave that. Okay, good. So that's your pattern. Totally easy to change, non-destructive, change it anytime. Then above it, you've got your color overlay, and you just change it to whatever color you want. Super effortless. And I wanted to point out that my textures, all the different texture styles they're not just the same thing but different colors, because to me that's like cheating. They're actually unique textures. So that's why I say I have 215 textures altogether, but there's 161 unique ones. So that's a lot. So there's your color. And also, this is the first overlay, which option, which is iridescent, which I thought would be really fun. And a lot of times this looks pretty cool on the jeweled ones or the lighter ones. So I'm just going to put a jewel one on right now, or a pave. And let's just have fun. I love this pave 14. That's gorgeous. And then here, you can turn off your color and turn on the iridescent overlay. And at the end of all of those patterns, we've got all these different iridescent overlays, which right now by default, I put it on like a 50% scale so that you just see lots of different colors in there. And then also it's on overlay mode. So, and the opacity is 50%, which you can make it more intense if you want or less. But somewhere around 50, depending, they're all different. So they all, have just so many different options. But you can just change the opacity depending on what you want. But for me, a lot of the times the iridescents look better on a lower opacity to make it look more realistic. Especially on those jewel tones. Those are just really beautiful. And then over the top of it, you've got your brightness and contrast in case you want to just kind of fiddle with it a little bit and make it a little bit more dark or light or something. But I generally, that's kind of why I made the dark and light versions on a lot of them, so that you don't really have to mess with it and it's a lot faster. But you still have this extra brightness and adjustment layer above it, just in case you want it. And all of that is just that easy. So it's so much fun. That's the main couture action. And then I also have another action, which is here. I'm just going to delete that, get my original layer here, and I'm going to run the couture with the overlay, which this basically, I'm just going to hit play. And what this does is it makes one of the, it does the exact same action as the other one, but it gives you one more layer at the top, which is where you can have jeweled or gold overlay. So at the end, I've got loose jewels and I've got gold leaf overlays. And you can just change that up and just have some kind of like really cool gold flecks on there, or some fun jeweled, some like loose jewelry. And I definitely think that these overlays look better if you're using like a less fancy base texture. So I usually just use these, like for example, on the metal mixes, or the liquid metal looks really good. So that's kind of like has that super fine texture, and then you've got these like loose jewels or the gold flecks on top of it. That's nice. Or if you take, like, say for example, a rich glitter texture and perhaps scale it down so that it's super fine. So like if you love like a look of like super fine glitter, you see how easy it is? That's the original glitter pattern, and I just put it at 50%, or you could put it at 25% and make it super fine. So those loose gems or the gold leaf looks better over more of a super fine texture. So I've got that. I'm going to hit OK. And so that is the second action, couture with overlay. And I was actually going to use this on a demo too. This is like my new favorite word. It's sprezzatura, which I learned in the Borgias on Netflix, which is, I love that word and I want to make a display image with it. It's the effortless display of grace or beauty, I forget. Yeah, grace. Anywho's, okay. So I'll just show you like the action there. I'll just run couture on it, and there you go. So same thing, you can run the actions on a raster layer, a text layer, or a shape layer. So it's totally editable, and as you know, you can change the text anytime. So everything's just really editable, non-destructive, just like you're used to if you have purchased the Instagram. And then the last thing that I'm going to tell you, I'm going to try to wrap this up because I wanted this video to be a little faster. Just like the couture actions, you've got two that are the painting actions. And what this does is you just click Paint Couture, put play, and what that does is it preps you a work surface. You look for your red layer and you paint on that layer, and then you're going to be able to paint in those effects. So as I pointed out on my description, I made 50 unique jewel tone brushes for this so far. I say so far because I love to add. And then I also, as a bonus, I'm giving you all of the 100+ Instagram actions. So I just have to say, for value for your money, and I've looked at some of the other, add-ons or different things, and I just have to toot my own horn and say that this is an amazing value for what you get, because it's not just one style, some effect, like 10 versions of an effect. It's just so much. So I've got my brushes loaded here in the tool preset, and I'm just going to show you one of the new brushes. And I'll make some more displays and add them to Instagram like I did. So this is, for example, a jeweled classic. So I'm going to go ahead and just go pick a jewel, like a jewel layer. And I'm going to look for my red layer. That's what I paint on. And this is just some of the chains, like the jeweled chains brushes that I made. So I've got the classic. Just got some fun ones here. And let's see here, princess cut. So that's just some of a few of the different brushes that I made, which that's kind of fun, and it goes with the whole jewel theme. And of course, you just click here and you can change all the colors. Those look like so, diamondy. You can draw, make just amazing shapes. So it's just so much fun. Lots of different effects. Put some iridescence on over it. And let's see here if we've got some other ones that I can show you. The pave is kind of fun. I've got the big pave horizontal, so you can just draw on pave diamonds, which is like a lot of fun. It's 100 or 1,000 pixels wide. So have some fun with that. We've got your pave strip horizontal. Just paint on some pave. Pave strip vertical. All right. And we've also got some, just some shape stamps too, if you want to have some fun with that. Some thick jewels. These are really fun to just drop down some jewels. Marquise cut. So it's just a lot of jewel brushes. And the same thing, the Paint Couture with overlay action is exactly the same as Paint Couture, except it gives you one extra layer of the overlays, so that if you want to have those gold flecks on it, or, well, the jewel on jewel is not really, probably wouldn't really make sense, but so there you have it. I just wanted to go through everything, and I'm gonna have this on special for like, I was planning to have it only today, but I may go like a full 24 hours since I'm not releasing it first thing in the morning. But basically, you've got 24 hours to get this on special. I'm also going to have a super special on the extended license today. And if you have any questions, ask me, but basically just kind of works the same as Instagram. So I'm going to shut up and let you check it out. All right, thanks.